used to days. You and me. We used to days. You and me. We used to days. You and me.
Hey YouTubers, this is Jacques, and today I'm going to give you my opinion on the GF 110mm by Fujinon. It is a lens for the GFX system, medium format mirrorless cameras by Fuji. Let's look at that now. Before I start this review, I just want to tell you guys that you can go check everything out at the blog post that I have on my blog on my new website. I will leave a link in the description if ever you want to come back and reference that. You can, you just go to that blog post and you'll find out all the information that I'm about to tell you in this video, and it will also include the link of the actual video itself. I'm going to start off by talking about who the GF 110mm lens is for. And it's very simple. It's for anyone who is within the GFX medium format mirrorless system who wants to take portraits, plain and simple. Therefore, everything in this review has to do with whatever makes a portrait nice. So what are the main concerns for a portrait photographer when using a lens? Well, they are ergonomics, autofocus, image quality, bokeh quality. People who are doing portraits, they're people that are also doing stuff for print. And because of that, and because they're using a GFX system, most likely they want high megapixel count and they're gonna want good resolution of that lens.
The Fujinon GF 110 f2 LMWR is Fuji's portrait lens for the Fujinon's GFX line of medium format mirrorless cameras. Its crop factor makes it an 87mm full frame sensor equivalent. It has a linear motor, is dust and weather resistant, and offers excellent build quality and feel. The GF 110 f2, like all other GF of Fujinon lenses, can resolve up to or above 100 megapixels. The lens has 4 ED elements. The lens configuration is 14 elements in 9 groups. The minimum aperture is f/22 and the filter size is 77mm. I have always loved it when an open aperture lens can get closed down. You see this a lot in the GFX line. The 50mm 3.5 even closes down all the way to f/32, and I like that.
So right away, I think it would be a good idea to talk about ergonomics. What I really do like about it is the size of the actual aperture ring is really nice. Anyone working with the Fuji system will know that their lenses mostly come with aperture rings. This is no exception. And the focus ring right here is very high quality, feels very good. It is a rubber grip. Overall construction of this lens is excellent. The only ick I have about that is this, which is the lens hood, the essential lens hood for this lens. It's a 110mm. You cannot go outside and shoot without the lens hood on. I just think that Fuji could have made a bit more effort. It passes the test. It's solid enough, like it'll do the trick, but it's just at this price range, you would expect something a bit of higher quality.
The 110mm is a perfect focal length within the GFX medium format mirrorless line to be used as macro. However, it is not a macro lens, but you have to really consider throwing in another $400 to get yourself the macro tube extension offered by Fuji. By doing this, you double the utility of this lens. Because of its focal length, 110 within the medium format, it is perfect for macro photography. So for an extra $400, you have 2 lenses in one. Within the GFX system, the autofocus of this lens is probably the most accurate and fast. It is as fast as it can be on a GFX medium format camera with contrast detect autofocus and very heavy glass to move. Because of the nature of the beast, it is always good to mention that low light focusing is still on the so-so side as well. This has less to do with the lens and more to do with the system.
The only way I can explain this is that it is what it is. It's as good as it can be. The lens was relatively snappy and quick to focus. For what I have seen on other lenses in the GFX system, it does focus pretty quick and definitely gets on the mark. I think what struck me the most with this camera lens was the level of color fidelity you can get. It is surprising how good the color contrast is on this lens. It is pretty spellbinding in the sense that any sort of color gradient you have within your picture, you're gonna get really nice roll-offs from one color to the next.
Bokeh on this lens is really like no other. The Fuji GF 110 f2 really does define creamy. It really does stack up to the Bokeh Kings like the Nikon 85mm f1.8 and the Canon 85mm f1.2. You will not be disappointed, people. You will not be disappointed.
Not only does this lens do the trick, but when you do focus in on your subject, the blur in the back is really isolated and really isolates the subject from the shot that you're taking. So you have that really tack sharp in focus part of your image with that soft, blurry, mystical sort of look in the back. And it is, to me, one of the great lenses I have had in my hands for bokeh. So for sharpness, what I wanted to do was go and pixel peep with you guys and look at it right on the computer, and I'll see you guys on the other side.
This is a shot I took with Excire, and as you can see from the background and everything else, the way the bokeh is, I've never seen this before. It really is, to me, just really nice and fantastic. Let's zoom in on a bokeh ball here. Go look at a bokeh ball over here. You know, they're nice and smooth. I mean, depending on the shape, this is not a light. Therefore, it's not fair to actually sit there and say, well, it isn't perfectly round, but it's not a light, but it really is nice what it's doing with the background. This playground in the back there's a lot of junk going on here. And if ever you're going and shooting out, you might want a lens like this to be able to isolate the subject. There was people playing. This was a picnic table, but what's really great is you can't discern it. And the isolation between subject and the background is really great. Now, I apologize in advance because this is a 51 megapixel picture, but let's move in and just go straight in to see the sharpness of this lens right off the bat. I'm going to pull it in just a bit, let it load up. There you go. So you can see now I am on this shot right here because I wanted to get the depth of field and show it to you guys. I believe I'm at f2.2. Now f2.2 on medium format is below 2 if I'm not mistaken, when you take it to 35mm equivalent of depth of field. So you can see that the sharpness, even open up like that, is really good. It's surprisingly good. And let me move into that even more. Yeah, now we're getting beyond the pixels right now very soon. Yeah, we're into the pixels right here. But you can see the sharpness is there. I just want you guys to go and see this. This is another great shot where you can see I took it sort of inside of a garage looking out, and she's a bit in the dark, so it blasts the background. Right here, you just see the nice bokeh of what it does to a telephone pole and a tree. And I wanted to zoom into this spot right here around the neck to just show right here. See the subtleties of the color roll off there? It is really nice. So color contrast on this thing is extremely nice. and the fact that you're going to get, it's going to resolve to the colors that you see with your naked eye, and you are going to be pretty impressed, so much so that when you look at your shot, you're going to wonder if you're not just looking at the real thing sometimes, and it's pretty darn impressive. That's all I really wanted to show you guys for the actual image quality. I hope that helps, and that pixel peep was worth every minute of it. Now we'll go to a little slideshow.
I think that anyone who is going to be going into the GFX system is most likely going to be someone who is thinking very seriously about a portrait workflow. I believe that once you are in that workflow, there's one must within the Fujinon GF lens system, and it's the 110. So I think the 110 is a must-have if you are going to be within the GFX system, just for any sort of shoot, be it a fashion shoot in studio, flash shoot in studio. If you do run and gun outside and you want that great shot and you want to isolate, this is the lens to bring. It's just really a stunning lens. You're not going to be disappointed by sharpness, contrast, just straight contrast, color contrast, color roll off. Everything is there with this lens. It really is something else. I'd like to thank Morgane and Anne-Claire for being models for me. I got them during COVID-19 and they came out, they said, okay, we'll shoot, but at a distance. So I got some shots and we did a couple of test shots with them. So there you go for that. Just wanted to thank them. You guys comment below. Tell me what you think of this lens. If you have any other experiences, if you think there's another lens out there that can replace it. You guys like, share, subscribe, and don't forget everybody, keep on making something from nothing.